everybody, and welcome to the XP Classic Jets channel, where I talk about simulating classic jet airliners in X-Plane. Hi folks, welcome to a stream here that just doing a bit impromptu today. Really doing this to try and calm down and relax a bit, because I've spent the day, in fact I've spent several weeks now trying to get the IXEG FMC, or I suppose I should say the CDU more precisely, into Air Manager, and it's proving to be a really frustrating task. It's just taking forever, and rather than sit and cuss and swear and be in danger of throwing things at the screen, I thought, well look, I'll just get the microphone going, and at least this will calm me down, because I won't swear into it so much, if at all, I hope. Essentially the problem really from my perspective, and I'm approaching this that this is the first FMC that I've tried to program in Air Manager, so I may be maligning IXEG, but the problem really is the data output from IXEG, which in many cases isn't that great anyway. But what they've done is, with their data refs for the FMC, they include not only the actual data, the characters that go into the FMC, but all the formatting as well. And Air Manager doesn't like that. It won't take it. What I figured out I had to do after trying to look at the FMC and getting absolutely nowhere for quite a while, giving up on it and coming back to it a few years later, as I'm doing now, what I had to figure out was that you need to deformat or deconstruct the data refs out of the IXEG, throw them into Air Manager, and then reconstruct them to try and get that data to look the way it should do on the CDU screen. So it's quite a long and lengthy process, and you're actually having to go through it page by page, line by line. Now, part of the problem has been my lack of knowledge on how to handle strings and work with strings in Lua. But I think I'm getting there now. There's a few things I've learned over the last couple of days that might help speed things up. My view at the moment is to just leave everything as it is, or the stuff that works, leave it as it is, and only change what either doesn't work correctly or what's new. Plus the fact the situation with the IXEG is the guys, according to their forum, are working on an X-Plane 12 version, and all that's going to do is make the existing aircraft compatible with X-Plane 12. But they are then talking about doing the work that hasn't been done for years, which is on upgrading the existing systems, and particularly the flight management computers, things like Hold, that aren't programmed in. My worry is that what they might actually wind up doing is changing things again. So I am being a little bit cautious with how I approach this, but my aim really is to get an in-house Air Manager CDU or FMC that works. May not look 100% accurate, but it works, and that for now will be good enough for me, and I think it'd be good enough for 99% of users, because, you know, let's face it, how many people actually know whether the IXEG screen is 100% representation of the real airplanes? What I'd love to have seen from IXEG, and if somebody is watching this, then I'd really like to have seen 2 data refs for each line of the screen. One data ref just giving the basic data, the information that's going into that screen, and then another data ref which gives what's currently outputted, which is that data formatted. And at least that would allow someone like myself or anyone else who's you know, working externally with the data to have a quick and easy way of just getting straight at the data. And it would just be a much simpler process then to format it into the Air Manager screen, rather than this current deconstruct, import it, work with it, reconstruct kind of way of having to do things. So I have a blank sheet of paper here. I'm just going to go through the task of starting with a clean FMC and put data in, and just see where the errors are coming up in Air Manager, and just make a note of them, and then I'll try and fix them, because I'll be honest, I've got absolutely no idea how far down the line I am with this thing. Am I close to finishing it? Am I not close to finishing it? So we've got the IXEG itself open on the top screen, and then on the bottom right hand screen we've got the Air Manager representation. I'm quite pleased with the image I've done there. That's come up quite nicely. That came out of the kind of whole trove of 737 classic cockpit photos that I found from about 10 years ago that I'd completely forgotten I had, but that's scrubbed up quite nicely, I have to say. So let's take this through. I'm just going to quickly try and put a route in, see how it looks, and make some notes, and hopefully by the end of that I'll have a better understanding of just how far down the road we are with this thing, and be calm enough to actually get on and do something. So we are on the initial index page. We'll go into ident, and that actually all looks okay. That looks fine. Position in it, and we are in Dublin, EIDW, and I'm punching everything in on the Air Manager keypad. That works fine. The buttons, etc., all work beautifully. Let me just change the subject very slightly here and say there are a couple of ways around this. One way is that I simply I take the cop out, and I just literally have the frame of the CDU with a blank screen or a transparent screen, and then we use texture extractor to sit behind the panel, behind the fascia of the FMC, and display the information. And that would work, and that could be an option that I go down the road if somebody wants it to look exactly like it does on the IXEG. I don't particularly want to do that because that's introducing another third-party element into this, which I think is a cop-out on my part. And also, I'm not terribly happy with networking with texture extractor, and if I've got to use it, which I will have to anyway, no matter what I do, I have to use it for 75% of the EHSI, then my view is the least that I can use it anywhere else, the better. But it's an option, it's a way out. I could do that, be very, very, very quick and easy, it would just take a few minutes to do, and I could offer that as an option. And the other way around it is that I don't bother with the FMC at all, and that folks use third-party software such as WebFMC. Now WebFMC it works with a number of X-plane aeroplanes. It's quite a neat solution. It allows you to display your FMCs on the same computer as you're running X-plane, on tablets, on your phone, on another computer. It's a really nice piece of kit. It works very well, and I'd recommend it. And if somebody wants to go down that road, fine. Again, that's your choice. But once more, if I'm offering a product which is an Air Manager representation of the IXEG, then I'd actually quite like to do the best job I can in providing a full cockpit. And fine, somebody who's already bought WebFMC, who already has it, great, use it. If you want to use it, if you prefer to use it, it may give you different options for your own cockpit setup. If you don't already have it, then I don't want to force somebody to have to go and buy yet another piece of software in order to work with mine. I don't think that's really ethical, for want of a better word. So I digress. Let's go back. Let's punch in Dublin. There we go. That screen's all looking quite good. We'll go to route. Dublin is the origin. We'll go from runway 10. This is an old database, so 10 left, 10 right, forget it, it ain't in here. Destination, I'm going to go Rome. I'm going to go Fiumicino. So L-I-R-F, that's in there. And we'll go Aer Lingus, I don't know, just put a number in, 23 kilo. It's probably not how they do their alphanumerics, but there we go. So that screen there actually all looks pretty good. Route page 1 of 2 looks okay. Let's go down to 2 of 2. That's where we put the route in. Now I am going to just change screen quickly onto Sky Vector, which I have to say I don't use very often because I don't fly really in the current day world. And I've just scribbled a route in, and I hope that most of these waypoints are in this old database. But we'll go out to Liffey, Wallasey. I'm going to stick a few 5-name waypoints in because I want to check that they all work well in the FMC as well. Crew, I know that's one that's been around for ages. Honolly, Daventry. I'm going to give up soon because we're going to have enough. But I want to get enough that we've got multiple pages here. Right, Daventry. Let's run it down. Where are we? Coming over Brookman's Park, BK Dover. Right, I'm going to leave a very long leg here because I want to check to see that it handles long distances okay. And let's bring ourselves down here, Torino. Top. Unita, I think that waypoint's been around for forever and a day, so it should be in there. Elba, and then we'll which is Echo Lima Bravo, and then we'll just take it into Rome itself. Back on. Right, so the first waypoint I'm going to go to is Liffey, and again I'm typing everything in on the Air Manager keypad on the lower right screen to Liffey. Then we're going to do Wallasey, and we're going to do this waypoint here, see if it's in. If it's not, it'll tell us. Crew. There we go. Excuse me. Now, here we go. This is one of the anomalies that I found in. This is within the IXEG CDU itself. So these aren't errors that are coming up on mine. So it's given us two options. The first one is the one that we want. 5249 north, 218 west. The second fix that it's giving is 37 1.4 north, so it's dropped the zero. So I have to look to see add in missing zeros, and then it's done the same again here. It should be 13.1, but if you look on the screen in the IXEG, it's got negatives, so it's showing minus 78 west, so it's putting the minuses in for the west instead of dropping those out. But I managed to catch those. I caught those in the first stage of my programming, so I've dropped those out, but it's dropped the zero, and that then has meant that this is a degree symbol has come in. So the whole thing is completely balked when it comes to the IXEG CDU itself, and you can see what I'm trying to do is actually correct those errors. Now, if IXEG can correct them, brilliant, and we can just work with good data. But it is a bit of a pain in the neck. Anyway, right. So we're going to add in. There we go. There's crew. Then Honolly. Okay, that's now come up with 3 options. One's an NDB. So in 2 of them, again, just compare the IXEG screen. You'll see that with the west, it's got that negative sign. So I've successfully corrected that. So the top and the bottom entries are displaying fine without the negatives. Maybe someone will tell me the negatives are in the real aeroplane, but I cannot believe it. I just can't believe it. But we've come up again with this issue of it dropping the zeros, and it's done it here. No, that's a 57. It's dropped it here. So I'm going to have to again, what I'm going to have to do is take that line and deconstruct it, and literally deconstruct it down to, here's the north or south, here's the degrees, and here's the minutes and the decimals of the minutes. And then do the same with east or west. Take out the negatives. Now I'm working here with the north, so I'm going to maybe have to do something and go down to Buenos Aires or something like that, or Joburg, and run the same with the south, because could be that there's negatives in the south as well. So I'm just scribbling that down on my to-do list. Okay, so we want where were we going for? Honolulu or Daventry? Anyway, it's the top one, which I think is always the closest. I think they go by geographical distance. So so I'll add that one in. There we go, Honolulu, and we go Daventry, Delta Tango Yankee. Then next page, Brookman's Park, BPK, add that in, and we'll go Dover, DVR, and then we're going a long way down to Turin, TOP, Torino. That's come up with, again, selections. So the top two have worked out okay. The bottom one, again, you can see there, it should be North 3908.2. It's dropped the 0, and then that's kind of screwed up the bottom bit, which should be West 09533.0, but on the screen here it's showing W minus 95 minus 33. Right, so we'll put the VOR, oops, there we go, that one, there's Torino, Unita, there we go, and Elbach, Echo Lima Bravo. Okay, activate. My execute light needs to be revised so that it fits properly within the lit area of the button. Save the route. I'm going to save it so it's Echo India Delta. Oops, let's execute first, right? Echo India Delta Whiskey Lima India Romeo Fox. Save route, file saved. Okay, so that's working. So these screens, the basic route screens, are working. They're working okay. Now, it's been a long time since I've done this, so maybe I should do the rest of the stuff, do the takeoff and all of that first, before I come back and put in SIDS and stars. Okay, so takeoff ref, we've got flaps 5. I'm just going to double check here. If I put flap 1 in, that works, or flap 15, that works. So flap 5. This is takeoff ref. Page 1 of 2. So I've got to put in the degree symbol for flaps, and I've got to put in the percentage for C of G. And I think the C of G should work if I just plug in 15 into that. I'll change the trim 22. Yeah, that works fine. So let's get QRH on. I know, because I haven't got weights in yet, have I? So perf init. Right, I've no idea about weight. I'm just going to plug some weights in and look, we'll see what happens. So 56 ton on the gross weight, planned fuel 13.4. It won't need that getting down there, but there we go, 13.4. So I'm just throwing some numbers in, and then reserves, I'm going to put 2.5 tons for reserves. Cost index 20. Fuel price is quite high at the moment. Yeah, probably keep it low. Let's go down to 13. There we go. So that's all working. So I think that screen there so far is all looking okay. But the cruise, just change that to actual. Just make sure that screen's still showing okay. Alrighty. So let's do it. Flight level 320. Put that in there. And everything has come up. Everything has come up fine. ISO deviation -10. There we go. I may have to check the degree markings on this page just to be sure. Right, the one thing I've got to do is when I go mod perf init, page 1 of 2, that the mod is actually in green with black lettering, so I can do that with a symbol. So that's easily done. I can make that happen. Execute. Okie dokie. Cruise. Well, I'll leave that blank for now. No, I better put something in just to be sure. I say we've got a bit of a headwind. Let's go 180 at 65 knots. Fairly strong headwind, but we'll put that in and see what happens. Yeah, 180, 65. So the cruise wind, I need to check the degree symbol. Just move that. Okay, but otherwise everything else there looks okay, and let's go to N1 limit. OAT, let's do an assumed temperature, 15. Plug that in, that all seemed to work okay. That's all fine. Let's just go, let's check everything's working fine. It's back to 20k on the thrust rating. That all looks okay. Yeah, that's all fine. Takeoff, flat 5. There we go. That's now selected, so the V speeds are visible. 1, 2, 3. Plonk those in. They all look okay. So index. We've done our position. We've got our route in. Our takeoff stuff is done. Approach. We're not going to need that for a while, but just to have a look at it. So on approach ref page, we've got that's line 3 and line 4. Line 3 and line 4 blank potentially. If I just plug in flat 30 145 and we'll see what happens. 30. Just check that works. Yeah, that works. Now the alternate destination, I don't think that works in IXEG. LIRN is Naples, I think, so let's plug that in. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work. And requesting weather or nearest airports, it doesn't work. So that's a limitation of the IXEG itself, rather than of my lack of programming into Air Manager. So there are some deficiencies in the FMC on the IXEG. To be honest, I'm not really an FMC guy. I tolerate it because it's the classic, and I love the classics. But it's not a major hassle to me. Right, fix info. I know. Let's see here. I've just got to put a graphic in for the fix info top left hand corner, line 1 or 1 left boxes. That's easy enough done. I already have the graphic for that done already. Let me put something in. Let me put Liffey in, which is fairly close to our current position, and see where we are. If it works, Liffey, yeah. That's all come up. That's all come up grand. And Wallacey, try that. Invalid entry. Maybe it won't let you enter anything into those other screens. Sorry, into those other lines. Yeah, maybe not. Oh well, not to worry. Not to worry. Next page. Okay, maybe you put it into a different, into... Ah, that's me, that's me, that's operator issues, finger trouble. But so far that seems to work okay. Right, climb page. Now the speed is highlighted here, presumably because we haven't confirmed it. 250. I don't know, how do we confirm that? Do we just click on that and confirm, or not? Doesn't particularly matter. One thing here is to the top of climb, so this is economy climb. I'm missing decimals on the top of climb. And also I'm missing the percent symbol on the N1. So that should be easy enough to add. Right, that's exactly the same. Exactly the same. Engine out doesn't work. Max angle, max rate, they're all okay. That's grand. Cruise, economy cruise, presumably at cost index 13, which we entered before. That is all fine. Set the turb N1, econ cruise. Let's put that in. Right, that's percent on the N1. Okay. And then we'll just look at descent. So far so good. That's all grand. Right, once again, where there's a mod in the title line, that needs to be highlighted, but that's the same graphic, so that's easy. Right, let's put in departure from Dublin. Page is all grand. Page 2, that's just the listing page, that's all fine. I say we're going from runway 10. Yeah, we're going from runway 10, and that's fine. So Liffey 2 Echo. Add that. Go to the route, and next page. Sorry, legs. There we go. That's just added it straight in. There's no discontinuities in there, so that is great. Right, and then Roma. Rome. Let's see. Runway. Coming in from the north, so let's do runway 16 left. I don't know, I'll just hit one. There's probably not an arrival in from Elba. What were the transitions? Let's just go back. Tarquinia, I think that is. Let's do Tarquinia. Let's put that one in, and we'll see what happens. Oops. Right, arrival. I think I said. Right, runway 16 right, and I think that's Latina. Remembering my nav aids. I have no idea which is going to be the best. Let's go with that one. And enter. And now if we're going to legs, we've probably got a discontinuity here. Let's just check. Now the only difference on this page is that the 641 at the top, which is presumably the active waypoint, the next waypoint, should be highlighted. I've got brackets around it. I'm going to leave the brackets around. Highlighting that's going to be a bit of an issue. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Let's go down here. Right, we've got a discontinuity. We'll go lat, plug that in there. Right, on the mod root page, all the data disappears. Okay, let me just go to the previous page. Yeah, all the data's disappeared. If I hit execute, it should all come back, which it does. So that's just a little glitch there. I'll take a look at that and I'll just see what happens with that. Right, then we've got a root discontinuity. We'll just plug that in there, execute. Ding, 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 ding. So we have 4 pages of leg data, which all seems to work okay. We have root data. We have looked at everything here. We've looked at N1. We've looked at all the takeoff stuff. I'm just going to replug that in. I've got to replug that in. There we go. We have looked at route. We've looked at climb. We've looked at cruise. Looked at descent. Legs, departure and arrival, hold, which doesn't work, and the progress page. And the progress page, prog page needs a degree symbol sticking in there. So 99 degrees, and then I need to just format so that it's 0.7 miles to go, estimating at 1802Z, 28.8. Something weird is happening here with the data down here, but I'll look at that. So progress page 1 of 3, degree, then we've got check data, line 2 and line 3. It's probably the same error that's in both. Oh, and also the wind, and wind, and degree symbol. I think the nav status is a dummy page. Next page, those limits and prior RTA, those are dummies. And then progress page 3.3, I've got a load to do, as I'm missing titles. Loads. I'm just going to write loads to do. Okay, so I think looking at it, we're actually quite well advanced now. There's not too much to do, which is great, because I don't have to go and beat myself up with despair. I've actually just got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got 12 pages where there are errors. So I'll take a look at those, and I don't think we're too far. I don't think we're too far off here. There we go. Target speed. So the speeds are highlighted presumably until you select them, but really going to be a major issue? I don't know until we actually start flying it. Anyhow, the point is, at least we've got an FMC which works. You can stick a route in, you can stick all the aircraft details in, you can do 99% of the things that most simmers are going to do, and it works. The other major omissions are really coming down to IXEG. So I will try and do as much of those corrections as I can, as quickly as I can. And what I might consider doing is actually just releasing this CDU as a little bit of freeware. So if you want to try it, you can just download it and try it and play with it and tell me, hopefully, give me some feedback on what works and what doesn't work, because I may be doing things wrong. I may not be following the correct procedure, and somebody that uses this aeroplane regularly might be telling me that I'm missing loads, or I'm just doing something stupid. If you're interested, please take a look on our take a look on our forums, and I'll post something up on there when it's ready to go. But I think it'd be quite useful for folks to have a play with this, and let me know what you think. Pushing this onto the first officer's side, very quick and easy. That won't take very long at all. And then what I can do is use the first officer's side, if you like, as a bit of a I won't say a dummy, but I'm going to have to use it to allow access to data that's used in the LNAV system, particularly for the non-EFIS aircraft, because what I'll need to do is extract certain bits of data off the progress page, really, in order to throw that into the HSI. But that's another story. I think I can do that now. There's enough access to it, to the data, for me to be able to do that. It just means that I'm gonna link it into the first officer's CDU, and it just means you'll have to have when you've got LNAV engaged, you'll just have to have the first officer's CDU on the progress page. Hopefully that's not a major issue. The captain's side will still be available for full use, and if you're not in LNAV, if you're flying just off nav, then not a problem. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm a lot happier now at the end of this than I was at the start. I think I've actually managed to get more done this morning than I probably thought I had. I think the new ways that I'm looking at formatting this data has helped massively. So I am going to edit this video, get it uploaded, get on with finishing off the programming as I can for the CDU, and look to release a beta version of the CDU for you folks to try if anyone's interested. I hope you are, because after all the work I put into this, I hope it's of use to other people. And then we'll crack on and try and get the IXEG itself, the whole thing, actually released and finished, because the rest of the panels are pretty much done. The only thing that's been holding me up, the only thing that's been stopping me from finishing the non-EFIS cockpit is this FMC. So that's it. Thanks for bearing with me. Sorry, it's been a fairly boring screen. You're just looking at the CDU changing, but to be honest, this video is more for my benefit than anyone else's. I'm being selfish with this one, and it's worked. So thank you very much. Thanks for bearing with us. Hope you'll join us again soon. Cheers. Bye. Bye.